When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. Great companies are built on great products. Don't be afraid of new arenas. The first step is to establish that something is possible. Then probability will occur. Life is too short for long-term grudges. You can't have your finger in too many pies. Take risks now and do something bold. You won't regret it. The best part is no part. The best process is no process. It weighs nothing, costs nothing, and can't go wrong. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future and wondrous new technology where you see it, and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? The second mouse gets the cheese. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. I could either watch it happen or be part of it. What makes innovative thinking happen? I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. In the technology business, you have to be very fluid, where one day you're working on a design, and the next day you're working on a rocket. I think the best way to attract venture capital is to try and come up with a demonstration of whatever product or service it is, and ideally, if you can, a demonstration of the actual product or service. There's a tremendous bias against taking risks. Everyone is trying to optimize their ass covering. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with a horse? That was a huge bet he made," and it worked. The secret of my success is that we have gone to exceptional lengths to hire the best people in the world. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. There's a fundamental difference if you look into the future between a humanity that is a spacefaring civilization and one that's on Earth. I want to be in spacefaring civilization. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. You have to say, well, why did it succeed where others did not? Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is a disaster. Starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people who do it as it is about the product they sell. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Constantly seek criticism. A well-thought-out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is a disaster. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. There are really two things that have to occur in order for a new technology to be affordable to the mass market. One is you need economies of scale. The other is you need to iterate on the design. You need to go through a few versions. It is a mistake to hire huge numbers of people to get a complicated job done. Numbers will never compensate for talent in getting the right answer. The lessons of history would suggest that civilizational collapse is almost always followed by a dark age. If humanity wishes to become a multi-planet species, we must figure out how to reduce the cost of space travel. A company is a group organized to create a product or service, and it is only as good as its people and how excited they are about creating. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. You want to have a future where you're expecting things to be better, not one where you're expecting things to be worse. I always have optimism, but I'm realistic. It was not with the expectation of great success that I started Tesla or SpaceX. It's just that I thought they were important enough to do anyway. The odds of me coming into the rocket business, not knowing anything about rockets, not having ever built anything, I would have to be insane if I thought the odds were in my favor. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. There need to be things that inspire you, that make you glad to wake up in the morning and be part of humanity.